I am honored to represent the class of 2019 as valedictorian. I want to thank all of the families, friends, faculty, administration, and trustees who are here with us tonight and who have helped our class reach this important milestone. I want to thank my family, specifically Mom, Dad, Bennett, and Ashley, for always being there to help me study for a test, watch my sporting events, and support me in anything I wanted to do. I know that my classmates and I would not be here today without the love and support of our wonderful families. I also want to thank and acknowledge our incredible faculty and administration. You've learned so much as students and citizens from these amazing role models who have supported us and guided us through the years. Most importantly, I want to acknowledge our incredible class. You are an amazing group of friends with incredible talents, intellect, compassion, and humor, and I will miss your friendship very much next year. You have all inspired me to be a better person each day. Congratulations, class of 2019. We made it. Late night studying, May Day dances, POWs, science quests, IMB checks. We stand here today having survived it all. Some members of our class began here 11 long years ago in preschool. Many memorable bonding experiences followed. We first learned to read and write with the wonderful assistance of Miss Yap, allowing us to become the literature enthusiasts we are today. In 5th grade, we transitioned from the leaders of lower school to the youngest in the middle school. With us every step of the way was Miss Carlton, guiding us through POWs, ERBs, and our first school dance with the terrifying concept of a snowball. In 6th grade, our class size almost doubled with the arrival of our newer friends. In 7th grade, we bonded in Yosemite on long walks along cliffs, late-night games such as flashlight hide and seek, and our pitch-black trip through the spider caves, where we had to depend on each other in order to exit unscathed. 8th grade was the beginning of the end, and we have shared many amazing experiences together. We realized how much our teachers care for us at our graduation luncheon yesterday, and we are saying goodbye one last time tonight. St. Matthew's has allowed us to form memories together that we will cherish for the rest of our lives. In addition to all of the great experiences St. Matt's has brought us, we have earned our fair share of wisdom along the way. Perhaps the most important thing we have learned at St. Matthew's is how to be part of something much bigger than ourselves. Whether it be our school community, individual families, or nationwide movements, the school reinforces contributing to a larger common purpose. As a result of the positive and nurturing environment, we've learned to be fearless leaders and risk takers, and we are all very comfortable just being us. We have learned critical thinking skills which enable us to analyze problems and create our own methods best suited to solving them. Our amazing faculty and administration instilled in us a willingness to serve others and give back to our community. All of these skills we have acquired during our time at St. Matthew's have better equipped us for our future endeavors. As the years progressed and our class welcomed or said goodbye to a few classmates, the faces changed. However, one thing remained constant: our class's love for learning and the joy we brought to school each day. Winter or spring, sun or rain, gold stars or half sheets, our class always arrived at school laughing and smiling. Even in the darkest of times, we still made jokes and enjoyed each other's company. Our class has been through a lot together, and it has brought us closer as a group. Whether it was watching each other reel on the high wire at St. Dorothy's Rest, or listening to one another become vulnerable in front of the entire school during our chapel talks, our class has bonded in every way possible. It wasn't always easy, however, and we all were challenged individually and collectively. And all of this, hard work and fun, has led to today. Class of 2019, I want us to take some time to remember this moment. Remember the bittersweet combination of melancholy feelings for leaving, but also excitement for the memories we will make at our new high schools. Remember the feeling of freedom that comes with graduating, and a summer off, and the ability to take this next big step in life. Enjoy this emotion, and realize that we are now increasingly in control of our lives. We don't need as much parental involvement, which is both gratifying and terrifying. Most importantly, remember being with each other. We have created lifelong friendships here at St. Matthew's. Remember all the great times we have had with our classmates, as well as some of the challenging times to keep it real. Let's be grateful for where we are, and remember to thank those who have supported us along the way, as they surround us here tonight. Looking forward, we can't possibly know what the future will hold, but I am confident that our class will tackle it with the same drive and perseverance we have displayed throughout our entire St. Matt's careers. No matter what life throws at us, we will find a way to cope and prosper. I would like to congratulate the 8th grade for finally making it to the end, and focus now on enjoying the summer, finding time to relax and reflect, and never forgetting the memories we made together. As Shakespeare said in a play we read in English class recently, "Parting is such sweet sorrow," for we are both excited to embark on our next journey, but sad that we will have to leave the wonderful St. Matthew's community, which has taught us and supported us in so many ways. Congratulations, class of 2019, and thank you for this opportunity to represent you.
Miss Gals, during our time at St. Matthew's, we have all learned that we have the power to lead positive change in the world, beyond our own community. So, the class of 2019 would like to present this plaque, memorializing our class gift of support to Mr. Eli Hussein, Mr. Hussein is a social studies teacher at Camp Joshua, a school for orphans and disadvantaged children in Arusha, Tanzania. He is sponsored by Lahada, a non-profit organization based in Tanzania that serves hundreds of impoverished children and their families. The class gift will cover Mr. Hussein's salary for 2 years, so that he can teach at Camp Joshua for long. And now, Emma O'Shaughnessy will introduce our speaker.
Good evening. My name is Emma Shaughnessy. It is my honor tonight to introduce our guest speaker. How many of you have had the privilege to know someone who is the definition of unconditional love and acceptance? I have been blessed to know just that kind of person. She has led the way in all things related to human rights. In the 1960s, she stood up for civil rights and peaceful conflict resolution. In the 1970s, she proved that women can do more than just secretarial work in a corporate world, as a buyer for a leading retailer. In the 1980s, after her children were born, she decided to join the School for Deacons to begin her journey toward the ministry, only 4 short years after the first woman was ordained in the Anglican Church. In 1990, she began working as a deacon in the school and a school chaplain here at St. Matthew's. She was the first woman minister to walk through those doors. It was a great shock to the community to see her stroll down the aisle in her vestments. In her time, she did not waver in her commitment for equal rights for all people. She supported the youth of St. Matthew's in many ways. Trips to other religious establishments to expose them to different cultures, bringing the AIDS quilt to JBH, a Habitat for Humanity's trip to build homes for hurricane-devastated communities, and introducing them to the profound Stations of the Cross mimes, to name the few. Her presence here still lingers in the traditions of acceptance and love, not to mention the physical representations of her daughter and 3 granddaughters that still walk the halls. I would like to introduce to you my tutu, my grandmother, Leilani McCurdy.
She told me she'd make me cry. I believed her. It doesn't take that much. My goodness. God of all love, ground me in your word and surround me with the light of your healing love. Those words and a visualization I used with those words are my first gift to you tonight, graduates. That is my grounding prayer with the visualization. I'll tell you more about that later. But first, I really want to thank you for this opportunity to speak with you today, to return to this place after so many years, so much love, so much pain, so much joy, so many incredible 8th graders, kindergartners, the whole 9 yards. Time not that different from now. We still live in a time of pain and joy and incredible, incredible kids. Thank God. First, I am a Christian. My Christian faith, however, has been profoundly formed and shaped by every journey of faith that has touched my life. Now, the language that I use to make meaning and the language of my heart is usually Christian, often with a little bit of Hawaiian thrown in, but that's okay. Now, if your faith is different, 1, I honor that, and 2, I ask you to translate what I am saying into the language of your own faith and of your own heart. And if there is dissonance there, I want to continue the conversation with you. You can find me on Facebook, Leilani McCurdy, and AOL, DeaconLonnie@AOL.com. Facebook and AOL. Yeah, I know it. It's an old broad's technology. My granddaughter, Emma, is my tech support. She not only printed this for me last night, but when I got my first iPhone and was puzzling over it, she goes, "Oh, Tutu, give it to me." Boom, and it was done. Unbelievable. Hey, my first phone number had 4 digits. That's my high tech. That's okay. That's okay. Now, I chose the reading from the Gospel according to John for what I believe is one of the most compelling assertions of all Scripture. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. There are few, if any, statements from any faith or philosophy that provide a better foundation on which to build your life. The reading even gives us some specific instructions on how to do that. Abide in me as I abide in you. Abide in my love. What might it look like to abide, to make your home down that country road in the love of the one who loves you unconditionally? Among other things, I think it takes hard work, relationship, and connectedness. I'm calling that one thing because you cannot have relationships without connections. And 3, grounding. That's that word I used before. Hard work. Those words about the vine and the branches evoke a very organic image. Do any of you garden? Do any of you guys garden? It's hard work. Gardening, there's so much that needs to be done. Hard, messy, dirty work. So why do we do it? I work in my garden partly because I love to nurture people. And one way that I do that is through cooking. Cooking with produce from my garden bestows a powerful reward for all that hard work. I've got to admit, though, that my husband works in the garden much harder than I do. Thank you, Tommy. But I love my fresh herbs, my lemons and limes, my chard and my tomatoes. They give life to what I make in the kitchen, and they scent the air as I sit on the lanai and watch the sun go down. They invite hummingbirds and bees into our life. What joy, what reward. And you know, the very first thing I heard when I asked folks about you graduates, you work hard. Sound familiar? You do. You work hard. You work hard to achieve your goals. You have developed disciplines and habits to earn, to obtain, to meet your needs. You are dedicated. A word I lifted from Emma's chapel talk. Why do you work so hard? That's a question really only you can answer for yourself, but I do have some ideas. You've learned and you've developed tools that will help you live better lives as you emerge into adulthood. Tools like critical thinking, language, theater, music, worship and prayer, technology, math, science, history. Sounds like a movie. athletics, leadership, service, religion, teamwork, and so much more. You are biblically literate. You have learned so much about who you are. Thank you for what you said about that, Will. You have explored and experienced many various values in action. Values like respect, like responsibility, service, kindness, compassion, reciprocity, and spiritual depth. You have each developed your own unique theologies. Theology in 8th grade? Certainly. You have a stance of life that includes your awareness of yourself in relation to others, to the universe, and to the divine. That is your theology. You have also worked hard to open yourself to others outside of your initial circles of friendship. You have let others in. That's hard. That is not simple. And that brings me to relationship and connectedness. Again, that vine and the branches image offers a beautiful way to describe the connectedness so integral to relationships. If I cut the branches off the main stem of a desert lime tree in my garden, those severed branches cannot survive. They will never blossom or bear fruit again. Now, the world we live in today does not place a high value on authentic, reciprocal connections between people. It is so easy to simply consider others as commodities, as opposed to people or other branches on the tree of life. And I'm not even going to get into the implications for ourselves in this world we live in. That would take hours. You will have to figure that out for yourselves. That is the work of your adulthood. But like the vine and the branches on that vine or on my lime tree, when we cut ourselves off from others, we wither. We might live and move, but we have no being. Our souls wither. I honor you, graduates, for the hard work you have put in to building connections with each other, for others in the last few years. It has made you stronger. It has made you wiser. And I challenge you to continue expanding your circles of connectedness in years to come. I invite you to let the other into your life. One of the greatest blessings in my life was growing up in a time and a place where everyone was different. My friends, my family, my acquaintances and co-workers were of every faith, every race, gender identity, sexuality, every culture, every language, and every political stance. I pray you that blessing in your life. Do not fear those that are other than you. Learn, connect, do the hard work of relationship. To quote Robert Hendrickson, the rector of the church that we belong to in Arizona, the Christian is challenged to answer the question, who are these people? With a simple answer. They are my siblings in Christ and made in the image of God. We are also challenged to ensure that the same standard is applied to anyone victimized or marginalized by the violence of our culture's addiction to rage, fear, and anger. Being right in one's ideology or in the accumulation of assets is something of a joy. But being in a relationship is where we are called to live. In this mad, ever-changing world of ideas, technologies, instant communication, and manipulation, where everything and everyone seems to want to sell you something, control you, or turn you into a commodity, amidst all the anger and all the temptation to meanness and cruelty, how do you stay centered in those values that you have worked so hard to develop? How do you stay grounded in your own you-ness? That theology, those values that you have worked so hard to grow. Now here's where I give you that gift that I promised you. Grounding. I've asked you to be open and praise the hard work you have done to be open with each other, and I mean it. But we live in a sea of both positive and negative energies every minute of every day. Have you ever noticed that being around someone negative or someone positive has an impact on your mental and emotional well-being, brings you up or brings you down? You need tools, graduates. Tools to find ways to keep yourself grounded in your foundational beliefs and values so that you experience the energies of those around you, but you do not let them knock you off your center. By being grounded, we are able to react from our own selves, our best selves. Otherwise, we can become a mob, or we can become so rigidly unbending that we shatter and break. My favorite tool is my grounding prayer. God of love, ground me in your word and surround me with the light of your healing love. And as I pray that brief, seemingly simplistic prayer, I visualize a tree. Actually, it's a very specific koa tree, perched on the top of a cliff, leaning over a beautiful valley above Honolulu. Manoa Valley, actually. My tree is rooted and held fast in the good, strong soil that to me represents the unconditional love of God that I experience in Christ. My grounding is rooted and it is defended. I give you my grounding prayer and my visual, but if my grounding technique does not help you, find your own way to remember who you are at the center of your being. It is a crucial life skill. And I know this sounds outrageously simplistic. That's okay. But I ask you to trust me and to try it. The more you consciously use your grounding technique, the more powerful it becomes. Your body begins to remember. And even in the midst of the chaos that life brings us, and it will bring chaos, you will feel your calm return. So graduates, I ask you to breathe, to take care of yourself, get enough sleep. Yeah, right. Love yourself. Be fully who you are. Stay grounded and be fearlessly kind. Your faith walk, your journey of faith is not over as you leave this place. Every decision you make, every word you say throughout your entire life demonstrates your faith, your theology, and your values. I invite you to live a reflective life so that your relationships and your actions truly demonstrate what you believe in. I invite you to live a life that searches for the hidden wholeness underneath the passing phenomena. A life that seeks substance instead of simply an endless preoccupation with form. That's Richard Rohr. I would like to close now with my second gift to you who graduate tonight. We're going to bless ourselves and each other. Look at your hand. Either one, both. I invite you to do the same thing. Look at your hand. You have been given this hand for blessing. That's its job. That's its job, to bless yourself and others. Graduates, I ask you to stand now. Got that hand of blessing? I ask you to point to your eyes with focused, loving intent. And I ask you to stretch out your hand in blessing with focused and loving intent. This prayer of blessing comes from hundreds and hundreds of years of tradition in Orthodoxy. God bless your eyes, that you may see the image of God in everyone. Now your ears. It's okay, you don't look as silly as you think you do, I promise. God bless your ears, that you may hear the cry of the poor. Your mouth. God bless your mouth, so that you may speak only the good news. Your hands. God bless your hands, so that everything you give and everything you receive may be sacrament, sign, and a symbol of the love at the center of the universe. You don't have to touch this one. Point to your feet. God bless your feet, that you may run to those who need you, always. Amen. Thank you.
Lane Willoughby Harris. Dana Keating Brooks. Lindsay Elizabeth Brooks. Ashley Michelle Bruins. Eliseo Daniel Buffington. Ella Chatterjee. John Harold Chung. Alexandra Clark. Olivia Cotton. Taylor Meyer Davis. Sydney Min Fish.